Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of June 26th, 2019. So let's get right into it. It's a fair amount of books this week. First up, we have Action Comics number 1012. This is misleading. It is an Event Leviathan book, I believe. So you'll definitely, if you like the Event Leviathan one-shot, or you picked up the issue 1 of the miniseries, you probably want to start grabbing Action as well. But yeah, can't wait to see what Bendis has in store. The Event Leviathan stuff looks really, really interesting about basically their Leviathan, this entity, which is apparently not Talia al Ghul's Leviathan, is basically knocking out every agency or spy organization or whatever in the world, be it Cobra, the DOE, Argus, Amanda Waller's Task Force X, like Spiral. All of these places are getting hit all at once, and so it's really, who is this, who's doing it, and all this stuff. So I would highly recommend it. It's really good stuff. There's a special Event Leviathan, or a Leviathan Rising special you can get to kind of preview what's to come, and then the Event Leviathan number 1 is actually out as well, so you can get that at your local shop, or if your shop has sold out, always check online for places. Comics Conspiracy, we still have copies of the Leviathan Rising one or special, so you can go on our website and check it out there. Next up, we have Ascender number 3. This is the continuation of Descender by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Really cool stuff. Instead of being more sci-fi and robot oriented, Ascender is now more magic oriented and going against the whole technology thing. So it's a really curious topic to see Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen tackle, since they just finished with something that was very sci-fi. So I'm excited to read it. It's really good, and you should check it out. Next up is the last issue of something, thank God, because the size is pissing me off, and that is Batman Damned number 3 is finally out, from Brian Azzarello and Berhimo. I don't remember the first name. Yeah, I really enjoyed issue 1. Issue 2 was okay. Well, that was Harley Quinn, so I liked it. But I'm curious to see how this ends. Batman Damned was kind of was supposed to be a really, really solid introduction to this Black Label line within DC that they were trying to do. But now Black Label is becoming the adult, mature over all of DC, which means Vertigo is going away and becoming Black Label. There's a lot of weird stuff that went on this past week with DC, kind of saying, oh no, we're restructuring and doing all this stuff, and now we don't have these print labels, we have these rating systems. And I think what's really shitty is that they just introduced Black Label a year ago. They just introduced DC Zoom and DC Ink a year ago, Zoom being for kids and Ink being for the young adult age range. And Vertigo's always been the adult kind of mature books at DC, but never really touched on the superhero part of it, except for a couple of cases of Doom Patrol's kind of in Vertigo, and Hellblazer and Swamp Thing kind of get lumped in there. But Black Label is supposed to be kind of this, no, we're going to tell mature or really kind of thought-provoking standalone stories that might not necessarily be in continuity. You know, really cool idea called Black Label. The title is not necessarily the best title, but that's what this was, Black Label was supposed to be. Now they're going in completely saying, no, all this stuff's going to be Black Label. Vertigo's going away. It's confusing as all hell. And I'm like, it's only confusing if you constantly are changing and don't establish things. Like, once it's established that DC and Vertigo are part of the same company, Vertigo deals with this and DC deals with this, it's a really, really simple concept that I don't understand why people have such a difficult time with it. Not to mention that even if you think Vertigo is a separate company from DC, Vertigo titles are amazing. There's a ton of them that you should be reading, or at least checking out. And, okay, fine, I'll give you 3. Preacher, DMZ, and Scalp. Those are really, really good ones to check out. There's tons more. Fables is really long and good. Check that stuff out. But now all of those titles that I just mentioned are going to be under Black Label, not under Vertigo. So I'm not necessarily I don't necessarily like this change. I think DC is shooting themselves in the foot, especially with Zoom and Ink, not letting it have enough of time to get off the ground. We've only had 2 before the end of this video, we only had 2 DC Inc. titles that were actually out on the market. One is out this week, so there'll be 3. 3 titles. We have 3 titles under the belt of this thing, and we haven't even given it a full year yet. And now you're pulling the rug out from under, and it's just going to be lumped in with regular DC. It's not going to be associated with. It's not kids. Like, all of the Zoom stuff was going to become DC Kids. You're still labeling it in. I understand that DC Kids labeling, that's a much better system than DC Zoom. But whatever. DC's graphic novel department or whatever publishing part of that is, they seriously need to get their heads out of their asses, because the trade dresses are horrible. Changing the name from Vertigo, or getting rid of Vertigo completely and now doing Black Label, means that then if you're coming in and reading Sandman for the first time, you're not going to be buying Sandman with a Vertigo spine. You're going to be buying Sandman with a Black Label spine. You're going to be buying Watchmen with a Black Label spine. You're going to be buying all of these titles under Black Label that were never under I don't understand. It's ridiculous. But rant done. Let's move on. Fix that, DC. It's horrible. Go back to what you did. Change the DC Kids. That's fine. But seriously, just stop with this stuff. Next up is Bloodshot Rising Spirit number 8. This run of Bloodshot is not my favorite. It's definitely not as good as Jeff Lemire's prior run, and it definitely feels like the writer doesn't necessarily understand the character, and it kind of just feels like we're spinning wheels. Bloodshot is going to be renumbered yet again in September, so we'll see how that creative team handles it. But for the most part, this is not a good representation of Bloodshot. If you want, go back to when Valiant came back on the scene years ago and read that Bloodshot, because it's really, really good. So. Next up, we have Books of Magic number 9. I'm not the biggest fan of this one. It's okay. I never really got into the Timothy. I can't remember his last name. The character. Like, I saw him in Justice League Dark in the New 52. I thought, okay, cool. But I don't think this is really a good introduction, because we're 9 issues in and we're still dealing with, like, they're drawing out this story for, like, I mean, I understand it's probably going to be a 12-issue. It was slated as a 12-issue mini, but not really much has happened in the 9 issues, or I feel, or every month it's like too much time has passed, and I'm like, okay, well, they've done this now and they're moving to this. So Books of Magic is okay. It's not something I would recommend to people right off the bat, but it definitely is something in the Sandman universe, so there's that. Next up is how we got shorted last 2 weeks ago, but we finally got our copies in, and that's the regular cover of Catwoman number 12. Awesome cover. I love it. We got shorted. Now I can finally read it. I actually had the variant because it was an Art Germ old school Catwoman costume variant. Really cool, but we didn't get the main. So next up is Detective Comics number 1006, and apparently Spectre is stealing Green Arrow's line from the TV show, and it's "You failed this city." Who knows? Spectre's back. Cool. I'm really excited to see what Tomasi has in store for the Spectre, seeing what this takes it. It's cool to see the Spectre back in the DCU. There's just a bunch of characters that are really interesting, and I like it when creators kind of bring them in and into their stories. As long as they're natural and being brought in, it's really cool. So I'm curious to see how Tomasi brings the Spectre in and where he goes from here, from his Arkham Knight run. Or story. So yeah, awesome stuff in Detective. Next up is Dial H for Hero number 4. This book's fun. I've enjoyed it so far. Sam Humphries is doing a decent job on it. Basically, I love the concept of just you dial this number and you get random power. It's really cool. I actually have it's not here, it's over. No. Yeah, it's over there. I have the old H for Hero series. I bound it, and I haven't yet read it, but I've heard it's really good. So it's something I need to pull off my shelf and actually sit down and read. So I like the concept. It's really cool. We'll see where the story takes us from here, but it's been really interesting so far. Next up is Chapter 4 in the Year 1 on The Flash. This is issue 73. Apparently Barry has a little bit of an issue. He's been shot, and now he has to survive. So we'll see what happens. Joshua Williamson done an amazing job on Flash. since Rebirth. Really cool stuff. It's definitely solid. Good place to start. But if you're like, I've never read Flash, I don't know, but I like Flash, you could even start at issue 70, which is the first part of the Flash year one, which is, well, no, that's not the first part. This says chapter 4. Weird. Oh, no, 70 is, yeah. 70, 71, 72, 73. Yeah, got it. Okay. My counting's off. Yeah, so if you were curious, track down issue 70. I know we got a couple extra copies in our reorder this week at Comics Conspiracy. So if you head over to comicsconspiracy.biz, you can order it online through us, and I'll most likely be the one shipping it out to you. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's a good place to kind of start and get a feel of the Flash and the character and everything that goes on in the Flash universe. Next up, we have High Level number 5. High Level is a pretty cool, interesting Vertigo book that I've been enjoying. Luckily, this will finish out, hopefully, with issue 6 being labeled Vertigo. I like High Level. It's interesting. I don't know where they're going to go. It's supposed to only be 6 issues, so it's definitely got to speed up a little bit. But the art's cool. The story is interesting, and the world that they created is interesting as well. I don't know if they're going to be able to encompass it all in the 6 issues, but I'm really curious to see how this story ends. Next up, we have Isola number 8. Isola has just been a really solid book from Image Comics. I really enjoyed it. The art is fantastic on it. I have no clue, like, half the time what's going on in it, but it's got tigers and magic and, like, just crazy stuff going on. Really cool. Check out Isola if you get a chance. The first trade is out and available, so that's a good place to start for independent books. Don't try and track down the number 1. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt, but you can normally get a issue or like a volume 1 trade and just dive into that. So yeah. Next up, we have Justice League Dark number 12. I really enjoyed Justice League Dark. Tyrion the Fourth's done an amazing job on it. It had a little bit of a rough start story wise, but I think it's really found its legs, and I'm curious to see what happens with the the Chaos Knights and all that stuff. So really cool stuff, really interesting. I'm really super stoked to see what happens in Justice League Dark. Next, we have Pump Mambo number 3. Definitely just an interesting character in the Valiant universe, and I look forward to reading it. It's nothing grandiose or great, but it's just fun and good. Next, we have Redneck number 21. This is Donny Cates, basically kind of American Vampire. And it's good. I enjoy it. So I'm really curious to see what happens issue to issue. 21 issues in, and I'm still enjoying it. So it's doing something right. So check it out if you get a chance. That first trade is out, and you can pick that up and basically figure out for yourself if you like it. Next up is Stranger Things number 2 of 4, but this is Stranger Things 6. I say that separately from the 2 and the 4 because we're going back to in the past a little bit in the Stranger Things mythos, and we're learning about 6, the kid named 6, not 11, the kid named 6. So really interesting stuff, really cool to see. Just the whole like what was it, the lab and the place, like what are they doing, like what is this building government or whatever doing there. So really cool stuff. Check it out. Next up, we have the Terrifics number 17. I'm surprised this book is still going. It's the only book pretty much still going. I think it's the only book besides, I think, Silencer that's going since the New Age of Heroes stuff. So I'm half expecting each issue to be the last, but it's okay. It's not bad. I like the characters, Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl, Metamorpho, and Plastic Man. Really cool, just dynamic to that type of team. So that's why I keep reading it, but we'll see. Next up is, I'm just a sucker for weird stuff like this, and that's the Valiant Universe Handbook for 2019. They have a ton of characters in here, apparently, and yeah, sometimes I read these, sometimes I just get them to kind of have that the resource information if I need it. Yes, you can look up most of the stuff on the internet, but I still like having like hard copies. Like I really want to go and get those official like Marvel Index, the Marvel Universe Indexes, like bound together, and the old Who's Who of DC bound together. I love those concepts of having just a nice collection of character bios and descriptions and kind of all of that stuff. And I really wish the companies would kind of update this. Valiant does this with this one shot every year, and it's nice to kind of have that. But Marvel and DC don't really do that. And I mean, I understand why. You don't need to do it every year with that type of company, but something that's definitely like every handful of years, I think it would be really, really cool. So who knows? If you'd like to have handbooks like that, or like the bio things, or what is it? I don't even remember the company, the DK company that does all the like informational resource books for things. I'd like to see that in just a kind of comic book version, not the DK version, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments if that's something you like as well. Yeah. Next up is another book that we were shorted the main cover of, and that's Wonder Twins #5. So this was like, I think, a week or two ago. So yeah, so I'm finally getting to this. Not Mark Russell's best work. I really enjoy his Flintstones. Go read the Flintstones 2 trades, buy it, read it. It's really great stuff. I definitely recommend that to the moon and back. His little fill-in on Harley I really liked, but his Wonder Twins just hasn't clicked with me. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna finish up I think it's a 6-issue mini, so I'm gonna just finish it to 6 and see if I'm gonna keep going with it. Next up is Wonder Woman #73, and it looks like Orlando is back on writing duties for Wonder Woman, which is probably good because Wilson was not capturing the book. And I mean, I know a lot of people that stopped reading Wonder Woman during her run. She may just be a fill-in thing, and then she's coming back. But yeah, definitely something that's you kind of need to get the character when you take over writing duties and stuff like that. Sorry for the like Kelly Sue DeConnick on Aquaman. It's just, she does not understand that character. That it's getting better, but I'm like, just take her off. It just doesn't fit. Same problem we had on Green Lantern when Vendetti took over. That first, it's just really rough, hard to get through. But Vendetti kind of comes into his own towards the end and makes it his own, and does a great job in enveloping and basically knowing the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern mythos and stuff. So that people do, the creators do have potential to hit that mark, but you have to have legs for it, and sometimes it just doesn't work. In the case of Wonder Woman, I know an avid Wonder Woman this person would literally buy every single issue of Wonder Woman that came out, except he doesn't want to get those issues, and he hasn't. So that tells you something. So that's it for the issues on the pull list. I did grab some variant covers. I thought there was an interesting variant for 1012 for Action Comics, so I snagged that one up. Of course, Batman Damned had the Jim Lee variant, which is the swamp thingy looking Batman there, so I snagged that one. Detective Comics 106 had a really cool one I picked up as well. Flash had just a fun one with him running down a building. Cool stuff right there for issue 73. And of course, Wonder Woman 73, amazing cover by Friesen. Awesome stuff. Yeah, can't go wrong with her Wonder Woman covers. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for single issue comics. I did pick up an original graphic novel, and that is the DC Inc. Teen Titans Raven is out this week. Tiebreaker and Under the Moon, A Catwoman Tale are two of the other books that are in the DC Inc. line. So I enjoyed them, so I'm really curious to check this one out and see if I like the Raven one. So but it's written by Cami Garcia with art by Gabriel Piccolo. And yeah, super excited to read this. Can't wait to do a 2-minute review on it here for the YouTube channel. But yeah, it's definitely good stuff. If you have a teen in your life or an early teen in your life, I think the Ink books are really a good place to kind of let them kind of read and have some mature themes, but also still remain kind of teen centered and not necessarily in your face with the maturity level. So good stuff. I previews. Should I do previews first? No, I'll do previews last. So something else came out this week, and I'm going to be hopefully doing an unboxing video for you. But that is the Stanley Art Germ Supergirl statue is out this week. Really cool design here. Can't wait for this one. Oh, I can't wait for this one. Yeah, but definitely a cool Art Germ statue for Supergirl in her in that costume of hers, the white shirt. So I can't wait to do the unboxing video on that. But yeah, check out. Stay tuned for more on that. But it's previews week, so previews is out. This time it's issue 374, July 19, and this is for everything coming out in September of 2019. So yeah, head down to your local shop, check out previews. This is where you're gonna order stuff from. All the publishing companies are in here except for two, and that's Marvel. So you'll have to grab a Marvel previews for that. And it looks like we're doing another Spider-Man #1, but this is the Spider-Man #1 by J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams, his son. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, we have the DC previews. Harleen, the Black Label book, is coming out as well, but the other side is the Legion of Superheroes from Bendis. So that's exciting news. So yeah, so check it out. Your store, if it gets previews, that's where you're basically going to be checking out to see what's coming out and ordering and all that stuff. But it's always good to look through and see if there's something that catches your eye. If you have a store that uses Comic Hub, the previews magazine all the solicitations should be up if they uploaded the information this morning for New Comic Book Day. Yeah, so all of the information should be there. So you just click on that catalog and you can go page by page. You can go publisher by publisher if you want, I believe, but definitely get in the habit of pre-ordering. It's the best way to do things. So that's it for this week. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down in the comment section below. You can please be nice. We don't need to be jerks. Let me know what you're getting. Let me know what you pick up. All that wonderful stuff. I like the feedback. Thank you for that. I've been trying to improve these as I go, as little as I can as I go. You may have noticed that I have this thing on, and I also have this thing on. My fingertips have been tingly for the past month, and a little puffy. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor says, "You have carpal tunnel." And I'm like, okay, well, my wrist doesn't hurt. And, well, you also have tennis elbow. And I'm like, okay, well, my elbow doesn't hurt. So, and I'm not feeling any pain in the normal places that you would feel pain. So they said, put a wrist splint on. See if that does anything. Put this tennis elbow bracelet thing on. If it doesn't do anything, 2 weeks, call us back. So I'm in the middle of that, and I'm going to call them back, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, fun times. You can listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode 407, where we talk about the DC Vertigo, getting rid of Vertigo, and rejiggering of whatever they decide to do with their publishing line or their rating system or whatever they're deciding to do. I mean, they really just need to pull their heads out of their asses when it comes to that stuff. We talk a lot about that. We answer some listener questions and all that fun stuff. So there'll be a link in the description below. Check out that episode. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees, getting food sometimes before we record, and getting products. So thank you very much to everyone who is a Patreon backer. It helps out immensely. Pretty soon, we're not going to the digital links on conspiratorbrock.com that link to the digital ComiXology copies of the books that come out. I'm no longer going to be doing that since Comics Conspiracy isn't going to be getting a cut of the purchases. They're doing away with their affiliate program, which I think is a poor idea. They say, well, restructuring and all that. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, but still trying to incorporate it would probably be the best. So I don't know that the affiliate thing ends at the end of August, so I'll still do it for the rest of this month, July, and most of August, but you'll see a change in that I probably won't have single issue links anymore to those. I will have trade links, but those are for my own affiliate with Amazon. So if I can do single issues through that, I might sit down and get all those codes, but we'll see. Who knows? But it's kind of sad that we no longer are getting a kickback from you guys buying digital comics through those links. So it has to come to an end sometime. So you can follow me on Twitter. My handle's @BrockSager. You can help me out also by buying anything in Amazon links here or on my website, or you can go over to my eBay page. There's a link in the description below, and I'm constantly purging and getting rid of stuff, and you buy it. It helps me out immensely. I know some of you are wondering about my living situation. I think I found a place to live. I have a roommate, and it looks like I'm going to be hopefully renting a house, and we can take the dog. Everything's going to be fine. There will be a little bit of period of adjustment, so these videos might have a different background for a few weeks, but hopefully I can get everything up and running and back to semi-normal for you guys going forward. But fingers crossed, the place is set and I get to move into it in pretty soon. So yeah, so thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support, and yes, guess what, I'll see you next week.